What's up? And welcome. Dreadlock Pocket, aka Big Brain. What up, man? And today, I hope you're entertained. Welcome one, welcome all, wherever you are, whenever you are. I hope you're doing fine, fantastic, swell, muy bien, très bien, bonjour, konnichiwa, Hope you're doing your thug thizzle wherever you're laying your hizzle. But most importantly, man, I hope you and the universe is in sync, right? If you feel like you're not, some negative energy getting to you or some vibes or whatever, recognize it for what it is, right? It's all energy. So there's a way that you can shape it, shift it, or mold it in your favor. Try to do that the best way you can. And if not, maybe do something else for someone else today. Put a smile on someone else's face. Plant a seed, if it were. As I have been saying for a while, and as someone wise one once told me, transmutation, not presumptuous denial, is the weapon of the master. So, yeah, let's look at what's in our face and try our best to master it. So, without any further ado, y'all already know what we finna do, crew. Finna pick up where we left off with the season. Good old Drift to Drift, infamy for the taking. We got double Gambit points this week, so we're gonna be grinding a lot of Gambit. That's right, GMs come here. So, not the full schedule of GMs from what I understand. It's only one per week until like week 7, I think. So, I think this week is going to be the Light Blade. We'll check out the modifiers. So, my Valor is overflowing. And yeah, just kick it off. Let's go ahead and shoot straight to the towers. Go deal with our Valor and also check and see what's going on at Test Bay. But week 4, man, we already swinging underway. I think we got 13 weeks this season, so yeah, almost a little bit under 1/3 done of the season already, man. I'm telling you, time be moving. It's crazy. But I hope everybody enjoying their summer so far, the start of it anyway. I know I'm enjoying mine the least. Oh, let's go see what Test Bait got. All right. Let's see what you guys shouted. Oh, it's the wrong one. Whoops. Yeah, I had a lot of fun actually with trials this week, and I normally don't even really be grinding out trials, but I actually had fun. Oh, got the all done emote. I can see people using this one after they outplay somebody. Yeah, I played a pretty good amount of trials actually this weekend. Didn't get the exact glaive I want. I had the sweeper stimulant. Yeah, that's funny right there. Sweeping the battlefield. But I did get one with Volt Shot, so I was super happy about that. Actually, I got a pretty decent one to be honest. That's what these shaders look like. Yeah, I got a pretty decent one to be honest. Just not the one I particularly wanted, right? But I did want Volt Shot, so I was happy with that. And yeah, it was actually pretty interesting with the spawns. At first, I was like, yo, what is this? I think everybody was like that, right? But they really grew on me. I liked how like initially it felt like you had to fight your opponent, but once you realize where the zone was, I mean, it was 66% chance that it was going to be middle or inside. You actually could ditch the engagement. I like that. That actually reminds me of some opulent vibe. You actually could ditch the engagement and try to set up inside if you really wanted to. And I like that it gave you that option, but on face value, a lot of teams went for the gusto and went straight for the jugular. So I actually liked this weekend a lot. I really did. I'm surprised and interested to see what the next few weeks will bring. But yeah, it looked like Test Bay brought some pretty good stuff. We're probably going to cop this. I'm not just yet, but we may actually cave and draw that. And then X marks the spot on the
Anything you want?
little faction thing. All right, let's go see what your boy Band shit got. But yeah, I had a lot of fun this weekend. I ended up running with started off with Ophidians. That's always like my safe play. But I ended up running this build that I'm actually leaning into a lot more now on comp before they nerf it. This is what the optimized stat looked like. I did it on Dim, but the overall drip was this one right here. This is what I was doing. I was doing double fusions, and at times I would swap the Mike Hells, but Vex was actually cleaning up nicely. I was really enjoying how it felt. It feels like it has no aim assist at like a certain range, like 32 or 33 meters. It felt like you have no aim assist, but it was still cleaning up if you had confidence to keep firing. So, all right. Oh, he got the Coronac here, yo. What? Yo, hopefully it's a lethal roll, yeah. Surplus Focus Fury. This thing is actually good. I recommend if you like 600s, cop this with surplus, accurized rounds, and range masterwork with nice barrels. This thing feels really good with surplus. It actually, I was surprised at how well this felt over Perpetualis. And Perpetualis is still good. I was just surprised like a world loot felt as good as a crafted one. Okay. And perfect float can cascade point. I do know that this bottom column does change. Like I think after like 12 or 13 hours the first time I reset, and this changes like twice a day or something like that. But hopefully this actually rotates to a really good and usable core neck. I've been wanting a very specific roll of this Zen Moment Incandescent, but I mean, shoot, if it swaps over to something better, I'll be happy. All right. So today we're probably gonna keep it light. I got a few tasks to do, and the fact that the resetter was a little bit later than intended, I'm used crunch for time, but we'll probably tackle the story real quick, and then that may be all we do, honestly. Let's see. And was there anything else we need to check while we're at the tower? I don't think so. Okay, let's pick up with the story, guys. Speak with the Drifter through the hollow projector in the helm. All right, let's go holler at the boy Drifter Drift. Let's actually, while we're here, be productive. Speaking of productive, I've been trying my best to stay on top of the Dreaming City bounties and all the other bounties that we got to prep for next season, because I'm like, you know what, since we didn't have to power grind, might as well stay consistent and tackle those things. So yeah, shout out to Houndish for the weekly updates, because without that I would not be able to remember where the the Dreaming City rotation was. I'm telling you now, yeah. But yeah, just in the downtime, I've been trying to tackle that and everything, because I can't stand like it near the tail end of the season when I'm trying to just enjoy the game. I feel like I gotta prep for the bounties and whatnot, and like honestly, you don't need to prep, but I like getting access to the artifact mods and testing them out before the quote-unquote meta gets established and everything. Speaking of, man, we have a lot of pretty good builds that can be made, especially Arc and Void, with these three in particular. Well, these 7. The 3 Void and the 3 Arc ones, but there's some pretty cool builds that can be made. Alright, let's burn through this real quick. Oh wow, we got one with Bolt Shot? Okay. Didn't realize that. Oh yeah, and the glaive I got, might as well show it off real quick. So it's nothing amazing, but you know, if you like glaives, right? Oh, this one isn't the one. So, my RNG, right? I'm telling you. I basically got this same one. I can't remember what was on this, but I got this same roll was for my main and / first glaive. But Tilting at Windmills, Bolt Shot, I wanted it with Tilting at Windmills so I can use it in PvP. Preferred Thresh and Bolt Shot, but beggars can't be choosers. But right now I slapped it on my Hunter, and it's actually pretty fun, man. I'm hoping that Bolt Shot or glaives themselves get a buff soon, but as a glaive main, self-proclaimed, I really enjoy the vibe of it. I was actually surprised with that.
What's the word, brother?
You tell me.
All this golden age tech is impressive stuff. Almost makes you wonder how they lost back then. You dig?
You've been listening to Wayne.
If we're looking to win this time, I need Savathun's swamp to wash up a few finishing touches for my rig. Cracking skulls and looting halls is your bag, hero. That's why you're headed to her throne world.
Onto the throne world, huh?
That pyramid Savvy brought down, it's cut off from the witness. Scorn bigwigs been digging tech we can use out of that burning heap. All you have to do is find them and take it. Then you let old Drifter worry about the kit bashing. Easy. Hey, one more thing. Sivu dripping nonsense in your head too?
Oh, she must be in everybody's head.
She's been recounting some of my more heroic exploits.
Uh-oh.
Dark Age's been on my mind. You know how the past is. You pull the trigger and people die. So you don't.
Are you feeling remorseful, Drifter?
Then someone comes along and wants to forgive you for that. Like it's fine. Won't ask what Sivu's judging up for a killer like you. Wouldn't be polite.
Oh, I sleep good.
Down,
I sleep real good.
been under pressure so long, everybody's looking for cracks. Don't get me wrong, according to Table, she's been through it. But I don't think Sloane's looking to be told it's fine. Because it ain't. Because it needs to be ugly to win. And then, you live with it. See you on the other side.
Alright, Drifter, I see you over there. They got Drifter over here feeling remorseful. Drifter says he's put the salvage you brought him to good use, but that he needs parts from a different type of machinery to further improve his device. I need Sabathoon Swamp to wash up a few finishing touches for my rig, he elaborates. He instructs you to travel to Sabathoon's throne world and secure a piece of the pyramid technology from the Scorn. With it, he can modify his extraction equipment to work in the deepest trenches of Kraken Mahar. Alrighty then. Looks like we're off to the throne world. Let's go ahead and secure another boulder. I think I only need like 1 or 2 more weapons, I believe. Oh yeah, the shoddy and the blade. I think that was the last shoddy I needed. And then the sword. I'm actually eager to get that thing done, but since I was closer to my shoddy, I figured, you know, might as well chop it off the list real quick. Oh, cool. I got an open space, which is surprising. Wait a minute. What? Did it just not go anywhere? What? I guess I'll delete. Actually, I don't have to delete. I'll normally pop these at the Eververse place. Okay, there we go. It just popped up as a legendary. I was confused for a second. I'm about to say, wait a minute. They ate my loot. Alright, there we go, and there we go. Alright, let's burn this down real quick. Collect amorphous alloys by defeating Scorn on Savius Throne World. Alright, heading down there real quick. Oh, that's the Enclave. Whoops. Yeah, cool. There's a public event about to be up there in a second. Should be a good amount of Scorn. It's been a while since I've been to the Dreaming City. But, yeah, I was just playing with this build, Rain of Fire. This thing with Vex, and this fusion from Iron Banner has really grown on me since it came out. I didn't think much of it on paper. There's a lot of weapons like that this season, actually. Like, on paper, they'd be like, why would I use this when I got XYZ, right? But it's pressurized precision, bro. This thing was slapping. And the fact that it's a fusion was just an extra plus. And, yeah, I felt more comfortable using that over Riptide. There were a lot of distances where Riptide could have got the job done, but yeah, that pressurized precision was putting in work with the playstyle, the Dawn Blade flying, and like just not having to reload is one thing with, especially with something as powerful as Vex. So I had a lot of fun running with the teammate, just dodging. I told him backpack, man. I was like, hey, yo, backpack. I told him a few weeks back. And then when I seen that they put the, I see when they put Volt Shot on the Glaive, I hit him up over the week. I was like, yeah, I need that backpack carry. And we actually ran through it pretty good, man. I had a lot of fun. What was surprising was threes actually played very well too, over from what I've been hearing anyway. Like I don't like live in trials, and the main way I even get in there is if it's like a weapon to chase or whatever. So I just been going off of what everybody's been saying, but threes actually felt pretty good. It just, I don't know if it was just not that sweaty this weekend, or if it just was just a lot of people playing, so it didn't feel sweaty. Like we still ran into some sweat teams, but a lot of those games went like 4-3 or 4-4. It wasn't like the normal blowout they usually do. So all in all, I had a lot of fun this weekend. Looking forward to the other map changes and whatnot too. Because if the other changes to the maps are somewhat like that, especially with the points and how you go straight to the action, man, like that felt really good. The amount of, look like I need 6 more. The amount of engagements and just how the whole thing flows. Here, maybe 3 more. Should be some scoring up here. Yeah, I remember reading or hearing in a TWAB. I can't remember which one. Oh, I think it was in not a TWAB either. It was in a interview, and they said they're keeping their eyes on Vex. So I was like, I remembered that over the weekend. I was like, you know what? Let me try Vex, because a lot of I've seen a lot of G Lances and everything. I listen to your boy Amari. And so with a lot of gravitons and a lot of centrifuges, I was like, you know what? Let me see. Let me go against the grain, see if there's something unique. And I tried Vex, man. Vex was actually feeling really good. Completed deep dive activity. Deep dives are launched in the hell. All right, deep dive is where we started off this time. Yeah, deep dive, not salvage. All right. So they definitely switched it up back and forth. I think for this though, I may go with. Depends on how sweaty it is. I mean, it shouldn't be too sweaty, but I like running Cenotaph nowadays. This big old, this big old block knock helmet, yeah. I guess we can go with this right here. Yeah, there we go. Pretty sure my mods are not right. Oh, they're close enough. Go with the arc on these right here. Yeah, see, Bungie was asking for feedback and stuff too, man. I've been meaning to go on to the Twitter and read what people were saying, but at the same time, I don't know if I'm ready for all that. I am interested to see what other people are saying outside of the initial bubble that I'm in, right? Dang, that's hard to pick, because my build with my class ability energy, I'm actually getting super energy, so I think we'll amplify our class. But yeah, I'm interested to see what a lot of people were giving like as actual suggestions for good feedback. You know, you're gonna have your memes and your trolls and stuff like that. I mean, some of that stuff do be funny, but I'm actually interested to see what the majority of the community would like to see as far as like initial feedback things. I think I have like 3 main big pieces that I would love to see. I like some of the stuff. It looks like they're taking courses for it, but like the way this deep dive system works, I really like this idea how like at first it wasn't really common knowledge, and now it's like you can activate the intense high levels if you want to. Like right now, I honestly wouldn't want to activate them. If the other 2 activate them, I will, but since I'm in a little bit of a time crunch, I like the idea of just burning through the activity, right? But the cool thing is, like, if you wanted to bring a build that actually tests your metal and stuff like that, you can bring it to an activity like this and increase the difficulty and the variety. Like, I really love the modularity component that they starting to add for that stuff. And it also leans into a little bit of the mystery, right? Like, it's not common knowledge, it doesn't tell you, but at the same time, you know, like, we using the internet, right? If you watching this stream, I hope you're using the internet. So it's like, you know, knowledge spreads off that info. So I think by the end of the season, right? See, like both of you guys into it. I think by the end of the season, this will be like a common knowledge thing to do. So I really like they taking approaches like that and mixing up the regular formula. So it's like some of those instances, I think they're already covered, and I wouldn't really expound upon them too much, except for like just bringing more of those. Because yes, please, it's really enjoyable. But one of the main things that I would really love them to see is take advantage of the Enclave, man. I've said this multiple times before, but having good chats with my teammates and stuff like that, but that's their perfect opportunity, I feel, is like to spruce up the game a whole lot more as the Enclaves, right? This is a looter shooter at its core, so like more avenues to enhance our loot is always the better, and the Enclave, I think, is a perfect avenue for that, because of what it does for crafted weapons, but kind of like expand that across the whole field of our loot, right? Like from armor to normal weapons and everything. I know in one of the what was it called? In one of the podcasts, they talked about being able to enhance even the rolls on world loot, which is going to be awesome. I can't wait for that to happen. But what another good pick would be, I think, is to be able to just enhance some of our loot in general, right? Like maybe for a cost, maybe introduce some type of currency or something we can grind out on the in-game level, or just anywhere in general. But allow me to, if I get like a a world drop of that coordinate that I want, or a Lodbrock C, or a Pizzicato, or a Funnel Web, right? Just anything in general. Say it's a 3 out of 5, right? I got the 2 perks I'm looking for. Like for Funnel Web, for instance, say I got Subsistence Frenzy, right? Let me allow it to take it to the Enclave. If I got bad barrels or a bad masterwork, let me modify that. And maybe the magazine perk too, you know? Like, I can understand having it locked to the final 2 columns. Like, that's understandable, you know? You don't want everything to be an instant, oh, just get this gun and then modify the final columns, right? But if I got a perfect roll and I'm happy with it, and it's just a trash barrel or a trash masterwork, you know, I would love to have the agency to modify that itself, right, for some currency. I think that's fair, especially depending on where you get the currency and how it's available. But yeah, just really spruce up the Enclave to where we can really enhance and modify a lot more of our loot in general, right? Like, just allow us to open the floodgates on that end when you're chasing your gear. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, it's a looter shooter, right? And, like, being able to modify your own loot, right? You might like fluted barrel, I might like hammer forged rifle, right? Someone else might like polygonal rifling, but those god rolls are subjective, and being able to tweak and enhance them or upgrade them, I think will go a long way in general. And I think the Enclave is the perfect vehicle for that stuff. On that same token, though, like, being able to take it to the next level, I think, will be a great addition as well, right? Like, being able to modify the really insanely good loot as far as like, I like the idea of mementos, right? But I think for what they stand for, they just don't do enough. Just being able to apply a simple shader or something to it is I think it would be better if that was just folded into the actual aspect of the gun, and the mementos that we acquire, you know, spread a lot more of them out in the general sandbox as a whole, but allow us to acquire mementos that change the origin trait perks, right? That way we could have a sort of player expression, you know. Maybe there's an origin trait perk that's really good, but, you know, if there's something else you would want to use and maybe swap it out, give us the option to, right? Like Alacrity, like, perfect example, on the Glaive, right? Those origin trait perks don't wow me, you know what I mean? But if I could put something like Ambush on it, or one of my favorite origin trait perks is Psycho Hack from Witch Queen. But the funny thing is, I don't really use any of those Witch Queen era weapons, you know what I mean? But I would love to be able to, like, say, grind a Nightfall or in-game raid. I guess Vow the Disciple would be appropriate, and I have a chance for a memento to drop that would alter my weapon's origin trait perks, right? And then being able to apply that memento to the weapon to actually change an origin trait perk that suits me, I think that would open up the doors to a lot of player expression and stuff too, you know. I think that would be like a really cool, like, mini game component to chase, right? Like, you're grinding a raid or you're grinding an in-game activity, boom, you get a memento to drop, but it's gonna alter how your actual weapon functions, you know. Maybe someone will like Omelon fluid dynamics on a different weapon, right? And, like, some of that stuff would make sense, and maybe we could tweak some of the values if it will become a problem or become overtly meta. But at the same time, I think it would be cool for everybody in the game to come up with different combinations on their weapons, right? And then maybe it would be a great opportunity for Bungie to just add mementos that would do certain things in the game for those origin trait perks, right? It would be nice to have to want to go chase those mementos from different activities and stuff like that. You know, like maybe the runneth over trait, right? And some would argue that some stuff may be OP. Some of it might be true, but at the same time, I mean, do we not see the origin trait perk from the dungeon weapons, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, some of it would be, but at the end of the day, the combinations, I think, would open up the floodgates for people to express themselves in their loadouts, right? And then by extension, since we're still on the issue of the Enclave, you know, not everybody grinds the dungeons and whatnot, and sometimes you get better armor from farming regular activities, right? You might get a perfectly rolled piece of armor in Trials, but since it's not Artifice, it's like, why should I keep it, right? Or vice versa. You might get a better piece in the raid, but since it's not artifice, it's like, why keep it? Allow us to tweak that at the enclave as well, right? If I get a perfect pair of loot and I want to enhance the armor piece, allow me to tweak it at the enclave, you know? But those would be like my initial main wants for enclave aspects. And I think that place is the perfect vehicle to allow us to express that. On the PvP side, you know, of course, right, I want more maps. I would love more content, you know, game modes in general, right? I'm pretty sure they're working on that, or they at least got their ear to the ground on that end. So I think that's more of an echo plight. But Forge mode, man. Give us some sort of Forge mode. That way in these downtime eras when I'm kind of bored or something, and a Forge playlist. Somebody make a cool map or a cool game mode. Maybe I might want to hop in and play something funky and new, right? I don't think everything... I think that'll ease up the temperature and the flavor of Crucible instead of it having to be dedicated on every game. I must try as hard as I can and win every match, right? You know, like I love to play the game and try most of the time, but some of the times I just want to put on a cool, funky loadout and just enjoy myself. You know what I mean? And I think if we had more Forge modes, more game modes that didn't really so much focus on winning, goofy play styles, you know, I mean, look at Griffball, right, from Halo. Like, I'm telling you, we got so many brilliant minds in the community. I would love to see what type of content people would make if we had some type of Forge reigning mode, right? But map voting too. Like on the regular PvP side of things, please, for the love of God, give us map voting. That's one thing I'd be so happy if I could load in 4 people in the lobby, we automatically start voting like commendations or something. Please, it would. I swear that would help with so much player fatigue in PvP. But yeah, for sure on that end, that's the most definite. And then I guess like my other like main big thing, right? Something that wouldn't be echoed, I guess. Because I'm trying to think like outside of the box, right? I don't want to say too many things that have been echoed before, right? You know, unless it's just really speaks and is prevalent to me. But like future down the road, I'm guessing like maybe when our final subclass of darkness comes out, I'm using Anthem as a reference, which I will almost always do every time I stream. But allow our subclasses to interact with each other as far as the verbs go, you know? Come up with cool combinations, right? If someone made a really good suggestion when I left this comment on, I think it was Plunder the Booty video, but somebody made a real good suggestion, like if you apply ice and then someone else applies his scorch, and then it creates a blast effect, right? Or if you apply volatile first and then scorch it creates like a volatile explosion. Like I really like the idea of being able to mix and match our subclass verbs, and I think that would be the next level to help create like more synergy, more people putting combinations together, right? You know, like right now we look at each other's subclass and be like, okay, you got this covered, okay, you got that shield covered, right? And like pretty much the end of it. But if it was a situation that was like, okay, cool, he's running this element, and if I apply this on top of that, this bonus or effect happens, you know what I mean? Like, I think that would be really cool as far as the next steps to the elements in the subclasses go. And then that would help make even more synergy on your build itself, right? Like maybe you have a weapon that applies incandescent while you're running arc subclass, you know what I mean? Or maybe with a stasis cell. So anything like that would just broaden the depth of the overall sandbox, I guess, is what I would love. Because there's nothing like player expression, man. And especially in a game like this, right? Like some people identify as, I'm a hunter that loves to punch things, right? Or I'm a titan that loves to shotgun or just use my auto rifle endlessly. Looking at you, sweet business, and acting more rig. And it's like, I think the more avenues that we have to express that player expression, the better overall it'll be, right? Like, you know, one thing that makes the meta annoying to most people is when you see the same thing over and over and over again, right? And I think if we have to make hard choices instead of everybody just being bottlenecked into that one decision, right? We'll enjoy the game overall a lot more versus that just, oh, I feel like I gotta run this because X player is running Y. You know what I mean? Like the thing I've become to realize over time is like there will always be a meta, there will always be a problem child of the sandbox, right? You know what I mean? It's just how long will it take before people get fed up with it, and how long will it take before they actually deal with it? You know what I mean? Like we all know that Graviton and Centrifuge is on that next chopping block list, but the Immortal is ahead of the line first, right? So it's like when people hit that threshold of seeing it enough, they'll rally cry for it to get attuned. But at the same time, if we had more options to deal with those things, it may not even ever get to that point, right? Like look at Vex and Rain of Fire. It's definitely powerful, but I think the fact that you don't see a lot of people running it is also a reason why no one's really talking about it either, right? And it's like there are a plethora of things like that, but it's always nice when we have multiple obvious options versus the hidden classics, you know. So. But those are just the thoughts of a big brain Warlock main that plays this game way too much, man. Let me know what y'all think about some of y'all changes and some of y'all feedback, man. I would really love to hear, because like I know it's a meme, we're listening to feedback, but at the same time you can't say that they don't be acting upon some things. And could they act upon some things sooner and amplify other things? Sure, obviously, yeah. But we all could do better in this place we call reality, right? You know what I mean? It's true. But those are my initial thoughts on that end. I would really love to see any level of any of those changes I stated. And yeah, I'd love to hear what other people got to say too, you know what I mean? Just to you know, get brilliant ideas from hearing other people's thoughts and the way they think. At least that's the way my mind works. I think that enhanced enclave part, though, I really think that's a great doorway to opening up the game on a whole nother level, right? Because like I get what they're trying to do with the whole family and sub-family of crafting weapons and adept weapons and stuff like that, and I like that sense of getting a weapon, enhancing my loot, making my loot stronger, me in turn feeling stronger as a guardian. But it just feels a little fractured and not cohesive at the moment, right? It just feels kind of scattered, and you can tell that they kind of testing the waters with certain stuff, right? Like the adept bronze weapons, you can tell they're testing the waters on certain ends, but in some aspects it's like you got to put in the work for that weapon, whereas some people wouldn't even want to go chase that weapon if you can have a regular crafted version of it, right? And then at the same time, it's like, why would you want to chase that weapon when you can only put an adept mod on it? You know what I mean? When I think the modularity component would open up the doorway for a lot. Like if I could get me a freaking memento that changes the origin trait perk and it only comes from master raid, yeah, I'd be running that every week just to stock up on components. That way, if I wanted to, I don't know, put runneth over or paracausal affinity, not paracausal affinity, that's the perk. What's the name of this perk, man? Harmonic Resonance. If I could run like Ron Master right and get the Harmonic Resonance memento, and I could apply it to weapons outside of the Ron kit, right, and then get that buff for PvP weapons, I so would. Every week I would farm out those components until I can't farm them no more, right? And then, you know, for PvE, Vice Stinger would probably be a top tier. And then I don't know, maybe in a world where that exists, every season or every other couple of weeks, right, they drop a handful of mementos that can maybe come from the planetary Nightfall or that planet activity, right? Like maybe by running the Neo Moon activity or something like that, right? You can get the nanotech tracer round, something like that, yeah. But I think being able to express and modify guns on that end is what would really take the looter shooter RPG aspect to another level, right? And I know it's like, oh, but power creep. Look, we ain't never gonna be able to get rid of power creep. Let's be honest. I mean, have you seen what we do in the champions now? Remember back in the day when we had to rely on Arianas and freaking Divinity just to like go through a Nightfall? Now we got all these builds and busted stuff. I don't think that that's gonna limit us or anything. If anything, I think that's gonna be more of a horizontal power creep more than anything, right? You know, you're still gonna have an origin trait perk. Like, how many weapons do you have in your vault where the origin trait perk is essentially useless, you know? And it's not like you're gonna be able to get those mementos for free. You actually gotta grind for them, obtain them, maybe level the weapon up, maybe get some materials to apply, right? And then I think all of that coupled in with you tweaking your weapon would help with the player expression, say like, this is my weapon. This is the way I wanted to craft mine, right? What does your immortal look like? Right, you know what I'm saying? Do you still got field tested on yours, or maybe did you run Gambit and you got the gun and run memento, right? You know. But yeah, I think that's where my head's been at ever since they asked for feedback. If I ever get to it, I'll make an actual video of it. But you know, people listening to me rant and rave about it now, you know. Y'all can tell me what y'all think. I guess more variety and not really unpredictability in Crucible, but I don't know. I love Crucible. I think Crucible at its finest, not when players are unpredictable themselves, but when you can use ingenuity in your favor to make an unpredictable play is the best way I can express that. That's my favorite type of Crucible, right? It's not fun when it's like, oh, it's like tic-tac-toe is the best example, right? If you can outsmart your opponent and play the X and the O's perfectly, then you know 2 steps ahead, well, they're just going to move themselves into a pin. That's not too much fun for me, right? I like the unpredictability of chess as an example, right? You got a lot of tools, you got some nuances and flavors to make. You ask yourself, it's like, yo, why is this guy on this subclass? And then 30 seconds later, you find out why, instead of it just being a meta pick. Like, I really love even watching that type of gameplay, let alone playing it. So any way that they can accentuate that play style in Crucible, I think is for the better. I'm not gonna say I think we lean in a little bit too close to balance, but I can see like how balance has gotten to the point where bottleneck builds are a thing. You know, I was playing on my Titan the other day, and I'm a Warlock main, but as I was playing Titan during PvP, I realized like, dang man, if I ain't playing Arc Titan, bro, why am I even on my Titan? You know what I mean? Like I had a midlife crisis right there. I was like, wait a minute. Maybe it was just me being bad at Titan, but I didn't feel like I had many options other than Arc Titan, you know. And I was like, So I actually wanted to come up with another build off of that same vein, but it's like, dang, I like the days back when we had multiple options and ways to express ourselves. But you know, you gotta have balance too, to a T, right? I just don't want it. I just want to have fun when I play Crucible at the end of the day, right? You know, and that's easy to say, and it's so hard to achieve. That's pretty much. Those are most of my, like, I guess my main feedback tenets. I'm pretty sure I can come up with some others if I really sit and like Albert Einstein my thoughts. I think another thing I would like to see off of that vein would probably be like hardcore zones. I really like how they did Neomuna. I've always liked how the Dreaming City was structured when it first came out, how it was difficult and it felt like there was a progression system to it. I liked how Neomuna's difficulty is, where it's like, I love the idea of going to a patrol zone and then it actually testing your build, right? So Neomuna really grew on me. The only thing I would say about Neomuna is that like after you got your borders, right, there was no other reason to go back and grind, right? Like I would love to do Operation Overload, but like what's the point of me going there, right? Oh my god, we actually died. What's the point of me going there, right? There's no real reason to go and do that overload activity anymore on Neomuna after you acquire your borders and your weapons and stuff. But I like the idea of it being a zone, a patrol zone that actually tests you and everyone else's build around you and stuff. So more of that, I guess. Like I guess another patrol zone, or maybe seasonal patrol zones that are actually difficult, and maybe if not the whole map, then maybe certain areas, right? Maybe like definite darkness zones, you know? And maybe you can enhance the loot depending on the difficulty of that zone, stuff like that. But I like not going to a patrol and instantly just like walking over the trash, right? I like actually having to think about the build that I got on when I'm running that activity, and then it's like, oh, okay, and it not being a raid or, you know, some in-game Nightfall. I really enjoy that aspect. So maybe like another patrol zone or any area that had those type of hidden darkness zones. It was something mysterious, right? About when you first loaded, I'm talking about the first early days of Destiny, when you ran into something that had a skull or it had a knife logo over the ad's head, right? It's like, oh snap, bro. Like, let me check my gallon. I got my gallon horn in my backpack. I'm gonna have to use something serious on this guy. I can't just walk up. It feels good to run up on that, and then actually the sense of accomplishment. There you go. The sense of accomplishment when you defeat that ad, right? And it's like, all right, bro, let me come back with this heavy hitting device. Like, that feels good. It would be nice if we had another loading zone that was on that scale or level, right? And then a reason to go there. Don't just give it to us and then we burn out the content like the overload stuff, right? And then I just don't go back, you know. But I like the expression of that. That was actually a really cool thing. Because at first I was like, why are they increasing the the patrol zone, bro? That's kind of wild. And then I like actually playing. It's like, okay, I actually like that difficulty. Hit me harder. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, all right. It's like, yo, bro, what build you got on? It's like, oh, all right. I'm stringing up everybody. You know, they catching phase left and right. And rampage is actually useful here. You know what I mean? Like, that stuff right there. It feels good instead of just running over a planet. You know, but. More on that end, I guess, more on the RPG level, I guess. I said player expression, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got, man. I think it's in a pretty okay state. Of course, people are gonna say stuff about the servers and things like that. Look, if they can fix it, they can get to it and fix it, right? I can't. I have trouble fixing the microwave, so I already know how much it's gonna be for them to work on the servers. I know I'm gonna leave that to professionals. The game engine, all that stuff. Look. I'm pretty sure if they pay somebody to work on them, they do that. I'm talking about the in-game player feedback stuff that I can provide as a week-to-week consumer. That's where I feel like my voice would be most valuable and heard, right? Yeah, modularity, agency on weapons that leads to player expression, and more, I guess, mods or stuff in that area, right? One of the things I love to do the most is make builds. And same thing throughout the game. Just don't let it be so bottlenecky, right? Don't have it to where like this is the Starfire protocol meta for the next 6 seasons, right? Like try to give us enough variety to where I got to make a hard choice. Do I put on this mod or do I use this mod? You know what I'm saying? Do I run this aspect or do I run this fragment? You know what I mean? Like make the choices so enticing that I actually have a problem before I even think about running the Nightfall. What my build's gonna look like. Like if you do that, that's a win in my book. Cause then everybody's not gonna have the same setup. You know, then it branches out to where if we are running the same setup, it's just a nice steamroll effect. If we're running different setups, then we can feed off of each other's builds and do more creative stuff. You see what I mean? Stuff like that. I can't go wrong there. I don't think at all. And then you'll have more expressive play styles and whatnot, right? Like, I think one of the best things I've seen this last week was someone doing solo third phase on freaking Ron, yo. And he was using gunpowder gamble with the hunter. Like, oh! Bro, hey, y'all know me as a niche player. That right there got Bud Jimmy's jumping. Like, if you would have seen the way he was throwing them gunpowder nades and swapping like that, that was fire. And it was like, that ingenuity and playstyle is possible now because not only he thought about it, but because it opened up the door to the fragments and the oh, please don't die for me, please. Oh my God, we died again. That opened the door to the fragments, the play expression, the playstyle, all that stuff. Let me put on well, man. This is the second time we didn't through. But yeah, just watching that go down, I was like, oh my God, bro, he is nasty. And he did it with like I said, gunpowder gamble with merciless and stuff like that. But that was the solo hunter though, and it was like I love watching stuff like that instead of your generic, you know, your generic stuff, right? Because of course, if it's meta, it's gonna be meta. That's why it's meta, right? That's a victim of its own success. You know what I mean? But it's something when you see somebody run something off meta and they just sweep the floor with it. It's like, oh, yo, that cat got some skill. You know what I mean? Like, he like, okay, I see the swagger that you dripping everywhere. I see you. So, and it's like that, you know. That can only be possible when you have different options and not opinions, but different options, and you have to make those choices, right? Something to be said about that. That inspired me to hop on the hunter and like go to town, yo. What's crazy is I still have not really played on my hunter like that. I played a little bit with the Triton gauntlets and did my weekly dungeons, but apart from that, man, it's so much stuff that they revamped that it's just a nice sandbox to play with this season, right? A lot of good quality of life with the exotics, man. I was playing with no backup plan on the, on a different subclass with the navigator, and that was so fun, trying to stack as many elemental buffs as we could, right? Tried to stack restoration with the void overshield, and then get the woven mail proc too, like that. That is nice. I still want to try the that ugly helmet, yo, the Eternal Warrior with Risk Runner, man. Oh my lord! But I think my favorite thing this season has to be that mod elemental charge, yeah. It's bringing me back to the elemental well days. And, man, I'm gonna save my well for when we actually need it. Yeah, I got you, bro. You ain't gonna kill us this time, man. Yeah, he on point too, you see? He on point too. He like, nah, not this time. Oh, he got Eternal Warrior too. He like, nah, not this time, dog. I'm trying to get out of here. I feel you, bro. I swear, Cataclysmic is just so good. A like perfect example is this the soul drinker trait, right? Like if I could put soul drinker on my pally, woo! Well, I'm telling you. And it's like maybe some of the origin trait perks, you know, maybe some of them can be locked specifically to weapon sets. I'm not saying make every origin trait available for every weapon, but humor me for a little while. You can't tell me that wouldn't be enticing or entertaining, right? How many origin trait perks would you want on specific weapons? How many times you looked at a weapon and be like, dang, it's good, but it would be awesome if they had this origin trait perk? Or how many times have you looked at a weapon and been like, dang, man, I wish I like it, but this origin trait perk is trash, right? You know what I mean? Like the fact that the dungeon origin trait perk, it's not gonna work on any Crucible at all, right? You can't get it to work in Crucible because you can't do finishes in Crucible. So if you were to like the no survivors and want to use it for a mortal replacement, you can, but the fact is the origin trait perk is always going to be worse than field tested, right? And so just giving me the option to apply something else to it would be awesome, period. It might not even be that much better, but it would be better than what's on there now, you know? Just give me the option, man. Give me the option. All right, homie, let's cook this dude, man. Yeah, and give me the ability to turn aim assist off. I want to turn my aim assist to 0, bro. How many times have I gotten dragged to a different target? Come on, man. Let's cook this guy. What's my well on? Oh, 5 seconds. We got it, bro. We got it, bro. We got it, now. All right. After I stopped throwing for the 15th time, had to go to the well crutch. Had to put on the crutches.
That wizard you defeated, Zevil Wrath howled the name. Crudizard. I remember that from an old report.
Alright, home skills, good play.
Trap, sir. Kudazad was a field captain for Savathun before Titan went dark.
Witness the conversation in the helm. Oh, witness the conversation? Is it the witness in the conversation? Alright, let me chill out.
She folds all conquered adversaries into her armies, doesn't she?
Not all
Alright,
of
we
them.
are officially done. Oh no, we still need to go catch fish. So we need to go fishing one day this week.
Not just to fight, but
Alright, give me 1 second, Chad. I gotta go check on something.
psychologically.
Behave yourselves.
Facing everything
Alright, back again, black again. Let's go head on to the top. Make sure we get our drip right. Where's that? This one. Yeah, I fell in love with this drip when I made it. Speaking of drip, man, Bungie talked about in the TWAB. I know it's Twid now, but TWAB. They talked about it in the last TWAB that they have a competition going on with the new like fashion emblem. Upload your drip, man. Try to go chase that emblem, yeah. I know I've been slacking. I need to do it myself, but maybe I'll remember now that I've reminded y'all. But yeah, that drip is actually pretty nice. That emblem is pretty nice. I still miss the old one. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a nasty emblem, yeah. It looked like a guardian was like tilting a sword towards the the viewer, but it was pretty elegant, I will say. Who is that down there? That's Sloan? All right. It's getting a rain angle here.
This is awful.
Sure is.
You ever been outside of Seoul? Never had a reason to.
Can't say I recommend it.
Yeah.
Saw some stuff while I was out there. Bad stuff.
Not that bad, huh?
Colder than you can imagine. Creatures that suppressed the light. My
Okay,
crew,
we getting into the drifter backstory.
let's just say we wore out our welcome. Creatures started closing in. Trigger fingers got itchy. Some of us froze to death.
I'm liking this.
A
You get some
lifeless
filler here.
Final death. The others, they didn't go so quiet. Not until I shut them up.
Oh, that's what's been on your
Not
mind,
sure
huh?
how long I stayed after that.
Alright, so let me get this real
Had
quick.
to mod my ghost to survive. Used the parts from
From other ghosts? You ain't gotta lie. Go ahead, tell us, Drifter. We all friends here.
I did what it took to get off world. And now I'm here.
I'm no stranger to combat, but
But what?
how did you leave it all behind?
I didn't. Some things you carry with you forever.
This is reminding me of Season of the Haunted where we had to play therapy.
They stop feeling too heavy to lift.
Thanks for the drink, Drifter.
Anytime, Sloan.
With the epic walk off. Alright. I guess we'll pick up from there. Yeah, I know I gotta get my traditional capture for the bring the coral to Sloan in the helm. Alright. Yeah, I know I gotta get my traditional capture of the thumbnail. Alright, girl. What's the play today?
Anathema. Calamity. That which cannot, must not come to pass. A wordless denial. A fleeing God. Betrayal. And escape. The pursuit for the final shape.
Speak with Sloan through the hollow projector in the helm. I will say, going back and watching the seasons gives us a lot of context. And watching them in the whole, as they come out progressively, there are some plot points that just stick with you, and there's other points that just go over your head or you forget. I said all that to say, go back and watch Season of the Lost, I think it is. Whichever is the season where we finally get the reveal that Savathun is Osiris, right? When we had to exercise her worm. Go back and watch that season. I do want to touch up on that at a later date. But the main thing is there's a point that Savathun made that said that had me thinking about the final shape, and they were talking, and Savathun spoke about if you ever wanted to know what was like above that line or was beneath, separates light and dark, and look above it. And I got to thinking about that quote in particular, and what I came to realize was that the final shape is a combination of both light and dark. And it makes sense when you think about it, because they probably spawn from the same thing and just separated. But it put me in the mind of when Savathun said that quote, right? It was describing light on one line, darkness on the other, right? The line between light and dark is so very thin. Do you know which side you stand on? But Savathun made a point to say stand on the line, right? So where those two, in my mind, right, connect or meet, what they have in common, right? Standing on that line and then looking up. And from what I understood from that is by standing on the line and looking up, you would see what is projecting both light and dark. But whatever it is that's projecting light and dark is the combination of the two, right? Just really interesting context though when you go back and watch prior seasons with the knowledge that you have of the season that you're currently in. They be doing their thing when it comes to foreshadowing. It really does. At first it may not look like a lot of obvious hints, but when you go back and watch it, you can tell that some of these plot points they have been building for some time, and I'm very interested to see where the plot point from Ghost to the Deep is gonna bring us for sure. Because the fact of the matter is that somebody was trying to resurrect not Savathun, Oryx. Whether it was part of Savathun's initial plan before she found out what happened to her race, or whether it was Amaru being desperate and as the ghost, right, and as the Lucent Hive having a vacancy, Amaru casting plans and casting the net out there in the wild. At first, I was thinking that maybe Zevil Wrath had something to do with it, but actually paying attention more and more to the story context and the cues, there is no red hive at all in that or taken in the dungeon itself. It's strictly Lucent Hive, and so what that tells me is that's more aligned with Imaru's / Savathun's plans. And yeah, I'm just really loving how they're planting the little seeds, and I can't wait to see where it's going to go as well. And from that same vein, remember, two truths and a lie, Savathun said the Taken King will rise again, puts into another context. So yeah, really just want to admire and give appreciation for the way that they're laying these threads out in the story. And like I said initially, right, going through it week by week, you know, some stuff out of context you might forget, it's not that important, right? But as you look at the whole scope of things, bravo, just bravo, well done from a storytelling perspective.
We're almost there. My link with Asa feels crystal clear.
Uh-oh.
It's a little frightening, but strangely comforting too.
Well, just don't go out like
It
Amanda,
changed
man.
While I was gone. It feels like the entire universe moved on without me, and now I'm struggling to catch up. Old enemies became new allies. New enemies wield the light against us.
Yeah, they certainly do.
Old allies,
Things have changed.
friends like Amanda.
Yeah, good old Amanda.
Sometimes I wonder, if I returned to the tower, would it even be my home anymore?
Oh, you good,
Or
girl.
would I just be a phantom?
Trust. We got Hive. We got Cabal. We got Elixir. The only thing we ain't got is Hive. You good, girl?
Voice keeps telling
pull on
me
up.
I don't belong there. That the battlefield is my home. That it always has been. Maybe she's right. Maybe reliving what I went through over and over.
Zevil Wrath is a master manipulator over here, yo. She in everybody heads.
To remain in the hell that I know. And avoid the one I dread. Either way, the mission comes first. I have to see it through to the end, regardless of where I end up when it's done.
All right, into the depths. Giving me them Davy Jones vibes. I would be so disappointed if they did not give us a Davy Jones reference. Maybe they haven't, maybe I've missed it. Sloane opens up to you about all she's been struggling with since Titan's return. Much has happened while she's been gone, leaving her feeling like it's impossible to catch up at all. If I return to this tower, she asks, would it even be my home anymore? Man, if you don't get out of here with that girl, you know you welcome. And trust me, if Osarathun was welcome at the tower, you good. She relates how Zevul-Rath's voice has been echoing in her head, telling her that the only place she belongs is on the battlefield. Bro, if you don't see that psycho manipulation babble right there, it's because the battlefield is what feeds Zevul-Rath. I'm really going to be interested to see what plot twist we're going to take in order to defeat her. Are we going to overpower her, or are we just going to outsmart her into some way? You know Zevul-Rath is the master of Sun Tzu. Sloane has to wonder if she might be right. Either way, the deputy commander is fully committed to seeing this mission through, regardless of where she ends up when it's done. Is that foreshadowing, my folks? And that is all. The Vanguard will inform you once again when Asa and Sloane are ready to boost their signal. Alright, looks like that is a wrap for the week on the quest. Cool. I think that actually might be what we call it today too. Yeah, 28 of 39. So that's what, 2 guys, maybe 3 more weeks. I was thinking it was gonna be 3 more weeks, but we didn't progress too many steps this week. We actually didn't happen to go into salvage or anything. I'll give us a quick overview of everything that's going on. Maybe do 1 Crucible match, but I really gotta book it in a few. What time is it? Yeah, it's almost time now. God, hey, bro, the day be going by so fast. We did have extended downtime, but at least the servers are stable right now, right? I'd rather them do what they need to do on their end so we can play as comfortably as we can. Yeah, Supremacy is out this week. We got Momentum Control. They fixed the scope on the sniper. You know what? We'll play with the sniper. We'll play a little bit with the sniper. Let me, I ain't even got to fly nowhere. We'll play a game of Supremacy, maybe 2, probably just 1 though. And yeah, we'll get into it. We need something to drop off. We'll drop Divinity off. It's not like we're gonna goes. Where are you at? Should be somewhere close, right? I know I deposited you something. There we go. We'll just use it because I doubt that dim is up, right? It may be already though. Let's see. Let's put that on. You know what? We're gonna use Ias Luna. And I want to try, might as well just play a safe go Ophidians, maybe? Yeah, let's do Ophidians. Alright, let's go do a little bit of Crucible. Tell you, I was in love with Supremacy. Yeah, it's pretty much gonna be a chill week this week for me. I might stream a little bit more later on this week if I get some free time, but I am quite busy. I'm busy to the point where I can't stream the way I want to, right, and have it a cohesive. Most of the time I just be wanting to be a nice cohesive stream versus like stop and starting. It's just something I just like to put my content out that way. So it may be probably beginning of next week when I start being more frequent, but guarantee I'll be messing with some things in the background. Let me see. And it's nothing really major going on too soon, right? I mean, we have the for the rest of the season, man, we're really just waiting for I look at it like another filler season. We're really just waiting for the final shape reveal. I keep wanting to say Lightfall, man, but I think that's what we'll go do last. Actually, we'll play this 1 game of Crucible since it's already loaded up, and then we'll go take a visit at the Veil. I'm glad I remember that. But yeah, we're just in a filler season right now, and waiting until we get to the final shape reveal. I was talking with my clanmate, and we was coming to the conclusion that the reason that Lightfall didn't feel impactful either is because of the name itself, right? It just didn't feel like it matched the weight of the name Lightfall didn't match the weight of the expansion, right? I think if it was named something else or some sort of filler vibe, we would have been alright, but it just didn't. When you hear Lightfall, you think of like, oh, calamity, chaos, destruction. You know what I mean? Like the light is fall. Like that's a serious type of vibe, and it just didn't hit us with that type of. Felt like we was going to the beach. Felt like we read up with Osiris and Osiris and the homies at the beach, right? Osiris, Nimbus, and Rohan. Like that's honestly what it felt like, you know. It didn't feel like it had that heavy element of weight, and I think that was also because of how much stock they put into the veil, and maybe they overshot it as far as like the mystery behind it. Like I get that they wanted us to ask questions about what was the veil, but maybe tease us a little bit more. Maybe give us maybe give us a little bit more red herrings to chase, right? I think the weight of just the veil itself just wasn't enough to carry the overall season stuff. And what's funny is the quality of life on that season was actually way better. All right, now that's way better. I can actually see with this scope. I was hoping they was gonna give it a 1K vibe, and it looks like they did. All right, now we actually can go chasing this thing. I'm actually surprised with Discord too, man. Discord is Discord is actually one of the roles I'm gonna be looking for a PvE role. I want to get all Discord themed weapons. I want to get a Discord heavy, a Discord energy, a Discord kinetic. I want to be out here just hot swapping with the quickness, yeah. Oh my god, I'm glad they added supremacy. As I was like, I'm not too pressed for that many game modes and stuff, because like evidence tells me, right, that like they're constantly working on it to some element. Just not getting in there as quickly as we like, but at the same time, can't ignore the fact that we've gotten a nice glow up with a couple of modes and stuff like that. I just think on the party end, on the player base end, with us having access to like maybe, like I said, a forge mode or a forge mode or party game simulator, something like that, right? It'll open up the player temperature and the attitude from having to be also focused on winning everything, you know. Be nice little, instead of the weekend, like after you go you're flawless, it'd be nice to, you know, hop into the party mode playlist and see what the community favorites is, stuff like that. That's one thing I've always loved about Battlefield 2 though, right? Not Battlefield 2 in particular, I mean Battlefield 2 as in also. But that's what I've always loved about Battlefield also, is like the fact they got those community servers and game modes, right? Whatever maps people be playing. I've always loved that aspect of Battlefield. Yes, feels way better. Feels way better. Ignore my scrub aim, but I'm here to let you know that's it. It's crazy how something that small, pun intended, will have an effect on your gameplay. But being able to see that reticle is like, it's night and day difference. I guess more agency and customizing our reticles and stuff would be a welcome addition to just anything that would allow for more player agency is a big plus in my book. The fact they messed with the reticle color was a good thing. It's like, oh, I can change it to green? God dang it. I can change it to green? He already playing with the messenger, his messenger adept, his old school. Guess I can go in the comp now and try to get some decent rolls. Yeah, you ain't lying, bro. Oh, backpack. Oh, no, don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. All right. Yeah, you ain't lying about that. I'm definitely going to be hunting down the goat of the goat rolls. I guess another thing, too, like if I had to lean more in the loot department, still talking about feedback, is, I don't just want to say more loot in those areas, right? But like, I hope they don't underestimate how big a factor that is into why the majority of the population grinds in activity, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with allowing, like say for trials, for instance, say you've unlocked every form of weapon, right? I don't think there's nothing wrong with on just playing trials in general, it drops random versions of the loot that you've acquired. I think that would go a big way into upping the boon of the Trials playlist that weekend, right? Like as far as player base goes. Because like I can totally understand why no one who even think about acquiring the glaive would even play last weekend, right? Like I can understand that, right? And I think if there were more loot incentives in Trials, and comp by extension, right? Instead of you, like perfect example, you only get 3 chances per week to get your perfect rose or your perfect sniper, right? We can't modify them, which I'm not asking for it to be completely customized, right? But I will say, like, if it is a random roll weapon and I have to grind to acquire it, let the Guardian grind it, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with throwing a plethora of loot that can only be attained specifically through that activity. I don't think there's anything wrong with them being able to farm it and get the loot, right? But of course, you could be like, well, people would be AFK farming and stuff like that. But I mean, people are, while playing Trials over the weekend, people were already quitting games, right? I've seen a few actually, I didn't see any AFKers, but I've seen a lot of people quit games when they seen it was like no chance of them winning. And I wonder if they would actually endure the suffering of playing Trials in general if they had an option to get more loot, you know? And I hope that just isn't, I hope that's not overlooked or underestimated on Bungie's end, right? I hope they do consider that as a factor, you know? Same thing for Iron Banner, right? Just have a little bit more to loot drop more frequently. Or, by extension, add that component level that we were talking about earlier from the Enclave, right? Like there were items or things that we could unlock specifically from Iron Banner. You can guarantee Iron Banner would stay full every time it's around, right? If there were certain origin traits you could get. And a perfect example is the origin trait itself, right? Like there's nothing really flashy about Skulking Wolf, but I would love to apply, like maybe field test it on my my Dark Decider or Omelon Fluid Dynamics, right? Maybe I'm taking it into PvE and Skulking Wolf is not gonna do me any good. You know, maybe I want Omelon Fluid Dynamics on it. But having that option, I think would be an awesome addition, though, for sure. I don't know. Maybe we'll get on that topic, you know. Maybe we'll get there. But yeah, man. That was just what my thoughts said. I actually might go. I'm scared to go diving onto the space that is Twitter, but maybe I'll go see what people have to say about feedback. If I could filter it between the I don't want to say useless feedback, but you know what I mean, though. The feedback that is just obviously trolling or stuff that I've heard a million times before. If I could filter that stuff out and really just see what people are saying, I'd be more encouraged to. But you got to recognize, man, the more people that feel at home playing the game, the more people that's going to play the game, and the more that's going to just boost the overall economy of the game in general, you know. You wouldn't see Sweaty make Sweaty McNo-Socks every game, right? If you had Billy the Barbarian playing too, right? But Billy the Barbarian ain't gonna be playing PvP if every time he runs he gets his ghost ran. That's not gonna happen. And I'm always down for most of the time. I still have my own personal preferences. Woo! Yeah, it feels way better having that sight, yo. I'm telling you, that's crazy how that one change. That one change, it's like I can see. I got the shard gun now, yeah. Oh man. Well, I can't remember what random tangent I was on, man. Y'all already know me. Them random tangents, they be coming and going. That's why I swear, if I don't write it down, it's a done deal. That thing is lost into the abyss. It is gone into the ether, never to be heard from or thought of again. Yeah, small things like being able to change my weapons reticle or some stuff like that. Cause there's the same thing. Some guns I just cannot feel like I can use because of the reticle or the way it looks. And that's a prime example of them listening to feedback, right? It's what, week 4? We were complaining about the reticle on this sniper like as soon as it came out, right? So it took them, what, 4 weeks to adjust that? It's like, yeah, so your feedback does matter. Don't ever feel like it doesn't. They might not be able to act upon it always, but like if you have something valuable to say, that's how you communicate with people you're in a relationship with. And I mean that on every scope and level of relationship, to your parents, to your siblings, to your young ones, your lover, everything. Just, you know, feedback is important, especially if they're going to act upon it. So definitely want to try to do my little part that I can, even though I might be screaming into the void. If somebody hears me, man, that's all that matters, right? Shoot, thank you for letting me borrow your ear right now. Yeah, I'm talking to you. But yeah, let me run and do this real quick, this mission here, and I guess this will be it for today, chats. The good old brain gang. Neptune. Yeah, here we go. But yeah, I'll probably be playing a decent amount of Supremacy. I'm gonna try my best to reset Gambit sometime this week. I like to reset the vendors at least to ×3. That way, if there is a weapon worth chasing, this season it's the linear fusion, so maybe it may become meta again one time. But it's strand also, so that's a nice enough reason to go chasing it. I'm gonna go try to acquire the triple perks on that in Gambit, and then maybe get to increase my chances of getting a perfect roll for some synergy whenever we want to lean back into linear fusions again. And hopefully get the conditional No. I'm speaking into existence. We getting a conditional finality this weekend. That's a must. It has been way too long, and we have not gotten that shotty yet. We snagging that. So, but yeah. All right. Let's see what we got this week.
Research log. Exos. Maya and I have built a working theory around the deaths of our Exo crewmates after their exposure to the Veil. According to Maya, Exo minds contain a combination of Vex radiolaria and something known as clarity. Radiolaria are alien microorganisms living within a hive mind state. Or, I suppose more accurately, a community.
Excuse me.
Clarity is, Maya described it as a paracausal power derived from an alien artifact. Something Braytech had kept secret. Something Maya thinks the Veil and this artifact are related. That the paracausal force from the Veil overloaded their exominds. Unraveled them.
Unraveled
it's like
them,
taking a powerful magnet to an archaic magnetic storage device. Full erasure. But Maya, she thinks we can reverse engineer this phenomenon. Use it to write data to a clarity-infused object. Fabricate consciousness. Scientifically, the process seems sound, but morally... Maya keeps saying that we're past the point of morality. She's
spoken like a true scientist.
Mastery of the Veil. It's like she's the one unraveling.
Oh, my lord.
I feel like I'm losing her. But every time I try and push, I feel her move a little further away. I don't know if I can lose anything else. How much more can any of us lose before there's nothing left?
Nimbus, how much do you know about the Cloud Strider's creation? The technology used? You don't think? I make no assertions yet. But I worry that your neon-lit city may have darker roots than either of us knew.
Nimbus talking about some, yeah, I'm liking this dark tone vibe right here, man, because, like, we're getting to the point where most, if not all of the old mysteries are being rounded up and solved. And I was wondering where the next dark, hidden from plain sort of view type of secret, you know what I'm saying? I wonder when that type of theme and vibe was gonna rear its head again. And I always love chasing those roots back. But yeah, we'll say one of the things that we thought of with when we first seen the Cloud Striders was how they were made. And the more and more we get into this lore, the more and more I'm gonna want to go revisit and just double check the lore that we know on the Cloud Strider, right? Not the Cloud Striders in themselves, but by extension, the whole history of Neomuna itself. It seems to be shrouded in mystery. And anytime you come around Clovis Bray, man, we already know that he was on some dark, evil, Illuminati type vibes. Like, he was always pushing success to the fullest brink possible, regardless of morality and human needs. You know what I mean? Like, he was just like success at his full brink. So seeing this side of the lore is definitely interesting, especially since, like I said, all the previous mysteries are pretty much getting wrapped up. Yeah, very interested to see where the overall story is going to go in general. I wonder where Maya herself is. The fact that they're mentioning clarity again is making me gonna want to go revisit that statue. And another thing, man, where is Clovis Bray? Right, last time we heard about Clovis was right when we found out about Rasputin and why Rasputin was built specifically to take out the Traveler. So almost no doubt in my mind that he was influenced by the Witness to chase those routes down or even embark on that plan to begin with. But all of that is just conjecture. We'll figure all this stuff out the further we get along and the closer we get to final shape. One more segue that I did want to add before I go was during this whole thought process week or whatever, I was thinking about the Black Garden, right? And about how the Witness was talking about how they wrestled in the garden and whatnot. And then it came to the realization that the Black Garden is inside of some sort of like Vex network, or it's like Vex in structure. But it also brought me to the thought process of the Black Heart and how there is apparently a Pale Heart in the Witness, which, not the Witness, the Traveler, which by extension had me thinking of the Lightfall reveal. I know all these extensions, right? But it had me thinking about the, not Lightfall, the Final Shape reveal where Cade was there, and people were saying that was actually inside of the Traveler. But it posed this question, though. What if the Black Garden is a copy of the actual legitimate garden where everything was first, like, created in the Destiny lore, right? What if the Black Garden is an imitation of the what if they were trying to copy what the initial creation space was, essentially, you know what I mean? And maybe the Black Garden is the Vex's version of the actual garden, and maybe the actual garden is where Cade and Ikora were sitting talking by the fire, which is hints in the Traveler. But those were just some thoughts. It's a lot of lore that I'm going to want to revisit in this downtime of the season, man. I need to go back and revisit the Season of Arrivals, because the hint about Nokris and Savathun lining up and the interference and stuff, I think there's some nice lore to be had there. People were saying things about the Royal Chase. We're talking about how Oryx's body was floating off to Titan and stuff. It's a lot of, like, you know, foreshadowing, small little stuff that I think if we start to chase down those routes, we can see where we're headed. But yeah, just looking forward to the future of Destiny, man, and the future in general. I think that is pretty much where I'm gonna end it off today. The wow or word of wisdom. Let me hit you guys with that today. Another quote from the boy Marcus Aurelius. But you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. But yeah, that's the wow or word of wisdom. Shout out to Marcus Aurelius, right? But yeah, man, it was nice chit-chatting and ran off as usual with you guys. Hopefully I'll see you guys later in the week. If not, I will catch you guys at next reset. If you like what you see, triple tap that like button for me. And if you enjoy the vibe, subscribe. It has been me in the present, talking to you from the past. I hope to catch you Guardians in the future. Adios. I'm Ghost. Guardian out.